Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Joe. Welcome back to the Inside Our Phillies podcast. The Phillies have just lost game one of the NLDS to the LA Dodgers. And to talk about it, we have Fed Giles. How's it going, man?
Not very good.
Yeah,
Not very
yeah,
good.
I think that's fair. This was a very frustrating game to be at, and I'm sure it was very frustrating to
Oh,
watch as
it was
well.
awful. It was awful. You saw the car crash coming from a mile away. The moment Sanchez let two guys get on, and you know, damn you have Kike Hernandez coming up, and who's just he's an awful hitter in the regular season. It's like a 600 OPS in the regular season. He comes in the playoffs, and just the power of Dodger BS turns into an elite ball player. Ropes a double down the line, and two runs score. And at the moment that happened, even when Robertson got out of the inning, and they still had the lead going to the seventh, I was just like, oh, for God's sake, here we go again. And I thought for sure, okay, they're going to take Robertson out and then they're going to bring in Strom. But then I was thinking about Thompson and like his decisions in the past. And I'm like, oh my God, he is going to repeat the same damn mistake he made in his last playoff game, where if you remember, he brings in Jeff Hoffman to get out of a jam against the Mets, sends Jeff Hoffman back out for the next inning, who promptly does not have it. And then you get the grand slam from Francisco Lindor. And it was the same thing happened this time, except it wasn't a grand slam; it was a three-run homer, where Robertson goes out, gets the out, does his job, then comes back in. Instead of just sending Strom out for the seventh, he's like, "Well, I wanted to get Robertson to the seventh, and then Strom to the eighth, and then Duran in the ninth." I guarantee that was his mindset, and he forces Robertson back out there, who's 40 years old, is like the guy I think who is least capable of sitting for an inning and then going back out, and it blows up in his face predictably. I don't blame Strom. Strom should have started the damn inning. If Strom
No,
starts that inning, nothing goes wrong. Strom almost was pulled like one of the great bullpen heroics of the last few years in getting out of that inning.
with the
And
top of the Dodgers order coming up and everything. I mean, I think
yeah,
that's a great place to start with leaving Robertson
yeah.
out there.
Can I say for one last thing here, is that I don't know if you saw this. There's people like claiming that um who was on second at that time? Was it Pajes? I don't know
Yeah, it
who's
was
on second.
Pages, and then they hit, or was that they already hit? No, they hit Will Smith, right? So yeah, it was Pages and
Yeah, they hit
Smith
Will
that were on
Smith.
base.
Yeah, it was Paz.
Yeah,
Paz was apparently looking into the glove of Strom while Strom was pitching, which of course it's legal, but it's just frustrating that it's like we're not. If it's true, I don't know if it's true. It might just be fans, doing their fan things. We have an obsession that the Phillies pitchers are tipping pitches. It's like the red scare of the Phillies this year is pitch
right.
tipping, and but like still, it's just stupid. It's so stupid, and I just I'm gonna cut it here. Else I'm gonna spend the entire show just raving about the Robertson decision. I think that's the worst decision in this game. I think the Sanchez move is somewhat understandable. I he had been dealing all
We'll
game.
we'll
Okay.
get to the
Yeah.
Sanchez thing. We'll get
Yeah.
to the
We'll
Sanchez
get
thing.
there.
I am pretty much completely with you on leaving David Robertson out there.
Hmm.
In the regular season, we pretty much never saw Robertson go up down. We really never
Yep.
saw relievers go more than one inning. And
Yep.
I don't fully understand why Rob Thompson continually manages games in the playoffs completely different than he manages them in the regular season.
Yeah.
I agree with you that if you give a clean inning to Strom, if you give a clean inning to even like a Kerkering type, put in Banks, like put in pretty much
Anybody.
anybody, especially after, Robertson got a really big out, getting Max Muncy out in the inning prior, it was an emotional moment. Your body is kind of going to take, the adrenaline out. You're
Yep.
going to calm down a little bit. And it's hard as somebody that was a pitcher to go back in there after such an exciting moment. I was a relief pitcher too. I know exactly how it feels, though not on the major league, stage, obviously, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense to me. Rob
Like,
Thompson infuriated me.
oh God. And like, I just want to be, again, because I don't know how many people have listened to episodes that I'm on. I'm a massive Thompson defender. Like, I have defended Thompson a ton through a lot of crap. throughout, the multitude of seasons he's been here. I defended him pulling Zach Wheeler in the World Series in 2022. After like thinking about it, I don't think he deserves the amount of hate he got for it, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm not going to get detoured. But this is the worst game I have ever seen him manage. It's it's inexcusable. I mean, like, listen, if this was the 22 bullpen where he had like three really reliable arms and everybody else kind of, you didn't really know for sure about, fine. I get trying to maybe stretch Robertson for the seventh, but Banks has been good all year. Herkring, he's had his struggles lately, but with the bases empty, he's still decent. You have,
You had Ranger Suarez this game.
you had Ranger Suarez, who's supposedly available, like Zach Wheeler was supposedly available in Game 4 of the LDS last year, and they never used him for whatever reason, because it just sort of feels like, yeah, he's available, just to make the fans feel better. Like Ranger Suarez, if he pitched today, would not have to pitch until Wednesday. That's when Game 3 is. He can throw an inning. He will not spontaneously combust if you throw him for an inning today or a couple hitters and then have him start a game for 5 innings on Wednesday, which is what they're going to do with him. And they have, like I said, they have Tanner Banks, you have Duran. Like, if you wanted to bring in Duran to face like Otani in the top of the order there, because the high leverage situation, you know, just you're so many more options. Better than sending David Robertson out the seventh inning. It was unbelievably stupid. And just listen. So the Castellanos thing, I'm not upset about anymore about him bringing him in. Bader's injured, whatever. I thought that was an actual pinch hit thing. I think my head would have exploded.
I
At
I
that move.
was freaking out when they put him in. My connection was very spotty throughout the game.
Yeah,
It was hard for me to get the
yeah,
news of what was going on. I still am not sure how I feel about Castellanos in this situation. Like, I think you could have made an argument for going to like anybody else.
yeah,
Nick Castellanos has had a very poor season, especially in the back half of the season, and now
yeah.
he's probably going to have to play every single
Every day.
day out of necessity. Although they did change the news about Bader from what I saw. At first they said it was like a
Yeah, it was
hamstring
a
thing, and now
groin.
they're saying it's a groin thing, and he's getting imaging tomorrow.
Let's hope it's nothing. I might like just like there's an idea of how demoralized I am by this loss, because I think I really need to put it into words. I posted on the just game day thread. I'm just pissed. I have an orchestra rehearsal on 6:30, like a pre-concert rehearsal that I have to go to basically. And I was going to miss game 2 pretty much. I don't really know if I care anymore. Like I don't know if I care, because it just looks like the same shit. And pardon my French, it looks like the same crap, and
They're good.
it's it's demoralizing. It's totally demoralizing to have to watch this.
The Phillies
And
are fighting majorly uphill in this series now. We saw in the past 3 years what happens when the road team wins one game of the division series. We did
yep,
it in Atlanta in 2022. We did it in Atlanta again in 2023. The Mets did it to us in 2024. And guess what? Dodgers did the same thing here in 2025. Now you're put into a situation where essentially the Dodgers have home field advantage. They
yep,
have to win a game in Los Angeles if they want to win this series. And they're going to have to win 3 out of 4 games against the Dodgers, who honestly they have a better roster than the Phillies have. We went through this in depth in the last episode. They're an
yep.
incredibly talented team, and their pitching is getting healthy at the right time. And looking at the pitching matchups we have coming up ahead in these couple of games, I absolutely would rather have Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and I'd absolutely rather have Blake Snell over Jesus Luzardo and Ranger Suarez. I mean, you could argue like,
Hmm.
2 through 4, but I mean, I think Yamamoto is clearly the best out of the 4.
Yep.
And it gets a little murky after that. But overall, in the next 2 games, the Dodgers have the pitching advantage. Like, would it surprise you if this was a sweep?
Nope. And I want to point out that I don't know if you've mentioned this. Uh, the Phillies have never in their franchise history won a playoff series where they lose game 1. Never. Never, ever, ever. And I think like 8 tries where they've lost game 1 of playoff series, they have never ended up winning the series. So
It's
I mean,
tough for anybody
it
to.
feels. it feels like it's over. And in general, by the way, in 5 game series, when a team wins game one, they win that series 73% of the time. So of course the Phillies lost in 2011 when they won game one, but that's besides the point. Um, I mean, this was the most Phillies gut wrenching loss I could have. Like if I thought up Phillies gut wrenching loss in my head, it would come out like this. Get your ace out there, who's, and by the way, Sanchez was absolutely electric, basically all game. And if anybody says a bad word about Sanchez for this game, they should be shot into the sun. Sanchez was unbelievable. Sanchez is electric. You got Bader making that unbelievable play out in right center.
What a
You
catch.
jump on, yeah, oh my God. You jump on Shohei Ohtani early for 3 runs in the second inning, and it's just everything feels like it's going your way. You're through 5 shutout innings, he's mowing them down, and then you get into a jam in that seventh inning, and you get first and second, nobody out. You strike out Ohtani on a fastball that was 93 down the center of the plate. I don't know what the hell Ohtani was looking for. And you get the next guy to pop out the third, and just the most predictable 3 run home run ever, ever. I was thinking the moment he got Ohtani out, I was like, he's going to get the next guy out, and there's going to be a 3 run homer. And
Ohtani
lo
struck
and
out
behold,
4 times.
4 times golden sombrero. You gave
Ohtani
Ohtani a golden sombrero, the man with 1,000 OPS in the regular season, and you lost.
Ohtani,
You
the starting pitcher,
lost.
let up 3 runs. Ohtani's like, a top 10 starting pitcher in Major League
Yep,
Baseball. He allowed 3 runs today. Ohtani,
yep,
the hitter, did not get a hit, 4 strikeouts. The Dodgers' top three was 1 for 12. And they lost
yep.
the game. They lost the
By
game.
the way, did you see how hard Teoscar Hernandez half-assed that JT Realmuto triple?
That
Like
was so
he,
confusing.
dude, I saw him. Oh, it's gonna be a single or something to score a run. And he just like just starts walking towards. Like what are you doing? I thought that was also baffling. And Dodgers fans would be crucifying him if he had not hit that 3 run homer and they lost this game. By the way, over that, I think, and rightly so, because that was embarrassing effort for a playoff game.
It
Um,
was. It was terrible. And
I mean, there's some just I'm at a loss for words because it's just I all season I've been saying, listen, I don't really believe in the postseason pattern. Oh, one less, one step backwards every single year. I don't believe in that garbage. And it's just I can't with a straight face say that this team isn't getting worse anymore when I look at it. It just I don't know what it is right now when they're going into October and they just melt. They melt. They melt under the pressure right now. And I mean the pitching does its job, and then the hitting just maybe has a burst where you're like, oh, there it is, and then they just collapse the rest of the way. I don't get it.
I'm trying to not overreact because I know that this series is not done. The Phillies might be heavy underdogs now. They are heavy underdogs at this point in the series, but the series is not done. It would not be the most surprising thing if the Phillies were able to win 3 of the next 4 games and win the series and move on to the NLCS. But it feels so done right now. And
It does.
I think what you're saying about the playoffs and how they kind of fall apart, uh, this might be a hot take, but I think some of it is the atmosphere at Citizens Bank Park. I've
Yep,
attended
it's pressure.
playoff games, you know, 2009, 10, 11, 22, 3, 4, and now 25. This was the least electric crowd I've ever seen for a playoff game at
Hmm.
Citizens Bank Park. This team can ride with the crowd like nothing else when things are going well, but when things are not going well, they fold. And I know that they
You,
made an effort in the eighth inning, but they still folded, right? Like
I just want to say that I'm going to say, and I have no evidence to back this up, but this is how it feels. 2022 and 2023, the fan attitude, the energy level, I think is mostly it might be a little lower, but it's about in the same ballpark. But 2022, 2023, the attitude was, God, we love you guys so much. We're just glad you're here and that you're a good baseball team again. We're really happy and like just jubilant and happy and all that stuff. 2024 and 2025, it feels like you mother effers better not fail again this time. Like it feels like the angry parent, like, that one dad at a kid's baseball game that everybody hates. yelling at their kid with like the super high expectations that the kid better
It's
succeed.
exactly right.
And
Such a good point.
and the kid just feel it just they don't have fun doing it anymore because it's like, oh my god, the fans, we can't let the fans down. Oh my god, we can't let the fans down. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And there's this thing that I forget who said it, and it was way back in the day for the Phillies, like 2014 or something, where it's like, if you're on the mound and you're thinking, oh, I can't walk this guy, I can't walk this guy, I can't walk this guy. You're gonna walk the dude. You should be thinking throw strikes, throw strikes. Think about what to do, not what not to do. And it feels like the Phillies are just like all week. It was talking about what not to do. We can't chase pitches. We can't get ourselves out. We can't do this. We can't do that. And it's a bad attitude going into the playoffs. I'm not saying it's the main reason they lost, but I think it gives a look into where their headspace is going into playoffs now. It's no longer like, hell yeah, man, we get to play in front of CBP. Let's effing go. It feels like, oh, can't let these fans at CBP down. And I think there's a lot to that.
And I think some of it's the players, right? Like not every
Yep.
player in the world is like that. Not every player on the team is
Oh
like
yeah.
that. But a lot of the people that are on the team, they just can't handle it. Can Nick
I
Castellanos
think
handle
I
it?
Yep.
Probably not.
Nope.
Can
I think JT handles it fine. I think basically all the starting pitching handles it fine.
does
And I
Schwarber?
don't know that I don't know about Schwarber. I don't think there's enough evidence. He was fine last year's LDS. He was walking and getting on base, and he had that home run.
He
But
got it.
you know,
He only had one hit in the NLDS last year.
yeah, yeah, I don't know because Schwarber historically has always taken a while in the postseason to get hot. In 22, remember, he didn't have a hit until like game 3 or 4 of the NLDS or something. Didn't have his home runs until the LCS, and same with
You're right.
2023. So he's always taken a while to get into the swing of things at the playoffs, and that's a whole different discussion about why that is. But that's just always been the way it is. I don't really doubt Schwarber as a playoff performer. He's always performed, you know, in big sample sizes in the bigger sample sizes in the playoffs. He's always put up numbers. Um, I'm more concerned mainly, if you want my biggest concern, honestly, it's Trey Turner. And I have defended Trey Turner to the absolute death this season. And it just feels like the lights turn on in the playoffs and Trey Turner turns off. It really feels that way. And I
It
understand
doesn't
he
look
had
like
that
he's
walk.
running at full speed either.
I don't, I didn't see, again, I'm watching on TV, so I don't see that really as well, but I'll take your word for it. He made some really excellent plays at shortstop. I think late in the game, that throw going towards third was really fantastic. But just at the
That was
plate,
nice.
it feels like he just falls off the map. And it has to be something with the pressure where it's just like, oh, we can't choke again. We can't choke again. We can't choke again. And they end up doing it because that's all they're worried about. And they're worried about not losing instead of worried about winning. It has to be some sort of
If
an attitude issue with this team.
if you're not getting production out of Trey Turner, like where are you
Yep.
getting production from the right-handed side? Like is it coming from Alec
Yep.
Boehm? No, it's not going to come from Alec Boehm. Is it going to come from Nick Castellanos? No. Harrison Bader is now hurt. It's not going to come from him. So where's
I
your
will say,
production from the right-handed side coming from?
Boehm did not have. I didn't think he had a horrible game today. Didn't he walk? Didn't he walk twice or something?
He
Uh,
walked twice. Yeah, but like
he walked twice. He was
the
okay today, but like your point still stands. Um, yeah, this has been the Achilles heel of this team since 2023 when they let Hoskins go. Is there is no bite from the right side of the plate from this team the moment JT started to decline at the plate offensively. There's no bite on the right side of the plate here. Like, oh, what? Like, no. Obviously, the guy who's going to come through. Nick Castellanos is going to come through for them. Clearly, that ball of goodness is going to come through for the team. He needs more starts. He just needs more starts, and he'll start hitting for them again, and actually, be worth a damn. Like, can we get into Nick Castellanos like really brief, really quickly here?
oh,
Because
that double
I
play
mean,
was hilarious. That double play was the
that
most
just
predictable thing ever.
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then he's at bat against Glass now. He comes up against Glass now, and you're thinking, okay, Glass now objectively has electric stuff. You got to look for a pitch and a part of the plate and to swing at. And what does he do? He comes up and swings at 100-mile-per-hour fastball that is absolutely dotted on the outside corner down and away. I mean, perfect pitch, pitcher's pitch. He just, oh, it's a strike, so I got to swing at it because I'm Nick Castellanos and I have no concept of how to, form a proper at bat here. It just, I, oh, I'm so utterly sick of watching this loser play baseball for the Phillies. And I'm sorry, he's a loser. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. On the field, he is. I don't know how he is off the field. I haven't heard anything bad about him off the field. So just, I'm not saying anything about Castellanos off the field. I want to be
He's
clear
a
about that.
losing
I know
baseball
sometimes
player.
he's a terrible baseball player, and I'm
He's a
sick of
losing baseball
watching him.
player.
He's a losing baseball player. I'm sick of watching him. And if he is anywhere near this team's spring training next season, I'm going to have a meltdown over this. He should be given a restraining order to never come near a Phillies facility ever again. I'm so done with him. If I, it would be the icing on top of the cake if he had to start the next 2 or 3 games or whatever it is, if the Phillies lose the series and he has to start them because Bader's out. That would just be the icing on top of the cake for me.
I mean, he probably will. I mean, I'm not
Yep.
expecting Bader to play any more this series. So get ready for the outfield of Kepler in left field, Marsh in center, Castellanos in right.
Yep.
You're getting
I
worse offensively, and defensively, you're getting a lot worse.
I'd rather have Otto Kemp play right field than Nick Castellanos at this point.
I would too.
Honest to God, I'd rather have Otto Kemp, but they're not going to because Nick's got the pedigree and he has, a couple postseason moments, and he's being paid $20 million, and Otto Kemp's a rookie, and we can't put the guy who's clear as day the better baseball player out there. It's just infuriating, and it goes into Rob Thompson's biggest flaw that he gets. It seems like he gets a game plan for how he wants a game to go, and he can't deviate from it. I guarantee that's why Robertson went back out for the seventh inning, is because he was going to bring in Robertson for the seventh after Sanchez finished the sixth, then go Strom in the eighth, then go
Well,
Duran in the
well,
ninth.
they want. I think they wanted Robertson to go through Pages and Smith, and then when it went Otani and was a lefty
Yeah,
again, I think they probably would have gone to Strom for Otani.
yeah, but it just, and then, of course, Sanchez can't finish off the sixth, so then Robertson has to come in early. And at that point, okay, let's adjust our plans. Let's bring in Ryan Kirkrain or something. And if Kirkrain starts to struggle, whatever, it's 3 hitters, bring in Strahm, and whatever happens, happens at that point. If that goes badly, fine. I still think you made the right move. It goes badly, it happens in baseball, whatever. They didn't make the right move.
Let's
Anybody that is trying, you just, sorry, you can
uh,
talk. I don't want to hog the whole show
let,
here.
let, let's go to the whole decision of Robertson in the sixth inning, because I think the sixth inning is kind of the inflection point of this game.
Yes.
I personally would have had no problem with that being the end of Christopher Sanchez, the fifth inning, because
Yes.
third time through is real. Third time through
Hmm.
is so real, and especially with guys like Christopher Sanchez. I don't have the numbers offhand. I'm not on my computer. I'm recording on my phone. But
Yeah.
every single pitcher is worse when they're through a lineup for the third time. He got through
Yep.
Otani, which is great. You have a righty coming up in Mookie Betts. You have a righty coming up in Teoscar Hernandez. Whatever. I think the absolute latest point for Christopher Sanchez should have been after the Freeman walk. After the Freeman
Yes.
walk, I did not need to see Christopher Sanchez anymore. And I do not blame Christopher Sanchez. He pitched 5
Yep.
brilliant innings. Postseason innings are stressful. They're high leverage. They put a lot of
Especially
strain
against
on
the
the arm,
Dodgers.
especially against the Dodgers and how good that lineup is. That's a great point. After Edmund singled, I absolutely did not need to see Kike Hernandez go against Christopher Sanchez. And then
Like,
once things finally go wrong is when Rob Thompson is like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should get somebody else in the game. And he puts Robertson in. Robertson is fine. He is not terrible. He's not great. He's just fine. But if you give him, a cleaner inning, I think he would have gotten through that and those 2 runs would not have scored.
yep.
Right? I mean,
I agree with that. I'm inclined to agree with that. By the way, I just want to add as a side note, if you get the chance, you should rewatch those Otani at bats against Sanchez, because Sanchez made Otani look just absolutely stupid in all 3 of those at bats that he saw him. I mean, he was watching fastballs basically down the center of the plate when he struck out looking against him. I mean, it was ownage of a level that I really haven't seen of Otani while watching him.
they look
It
like
just
bad swings.
he,
They look like really bad
Dude, he
swings.
was in full command the entire night, and it, like, until the very end, of course. And that almost is what makes it hurt more. It's like game one against the Mets where Wheeler was just unbelievable for 7 innings, and then it all gets thrown away because the bullpen melted down. And it's the same thing here. Nobody's going to remember how outstanding Christopher Sanchez was tonight. It's a crying shame because, oh my God, has that man picked up the torch that Zach Wheeler dropped when he went down for the season? And it's just, I think all the win it for Wheeler and all that stuff. I think it's disgraceful if this is how this team is going to play. Throughout the rest, if they keep playing like this, what will be a short postseason, and that's how the season ends. And
Yeah.
it's disgraceful. I mean, it's embarrassing. They should be embarrassed. Frankly, if they go out like this, I will feel embarrassed for having invested 6 months of this year into this baseball team to see them go out like this. And I don't like I'm embarrassed of the team I cheer for. I cheered for the Phillies from 2013 to 2021. There's a lot worse than you know a bad playoff performance to watch in those years. But it's unacceptable, and it hurts so much because if they keep playing like this, it's going to be 6 months down the drain within the span of maybe less than a week. And we saw this last year against the Mets, and I'm sure come Monday there's going to be a little bit of fire. I do not have like zero faith that Jesus Luzardo comes out pissed off and just mows down the Dodgers for 6 innings. I think that is entirely in the realm of possibility. It's
There's a
also in
lot
the
in
realm of
play.
Oh yeah, it's also, however, in the realm of possibility that he comes out, the lights are too bright for him. He's not. He gets too amped up from the crowd, and he just melts. That's
There's a
it's
wide range of
50-50.
outcomes. You're
You're
right.
flipping a coin. It's like with Luzardo, it's it's always going to be oh my god. Whether it's a good oh my god or a bad oh my god, you don't know.
A lot of people have I think still not fully gotten over the stress of knowing if a given Jesus Luzardo outing is going to be a disaster or not, right? Like
Yeah,
I know people say all the time, "Oh, there is a run lower if he, take out his two worst starts." But those starts happened when Jesus Luzardo was bad.
I
He
agree they
is
happened.
worse than just about anybody else in the league. I trust him, but I don't trust him. But I
Yes.
don't trust him enough to feel comfortable coming into game two.
You know what he is? He's the Reese Hoskins of pitchers. That's what he
So
is.
true.
He's
I,
either he's either white hot or he is just unwatchably awful. Um,
yeah, I have
it,
an
it's
interesting question for you.
yes,
So eighth inning, right? Harper
right,
is up. He represents tying run. Two outs, bottom of the eighth.
hmm
He ended up getting a single, but
right,
I was shocked that when he came up to the plate, I had no faith. Right, like a
yep,
year ago, 2 years ago, I think I would have expected Bryce Harper to hit a home run to tie the game. But when he came up in that spot, I felt that he was not going to come through. And he ended up getting a single, extended the inning, next guy up. It was fine. But I just want to know, Giles, how you felt in that moment. Did you feel that Bryce Harper was going to come through?
no. And I want to just put this into perspective because I think there's a lot of people who are, I don't think unjustly disturbed by Harper's decline from a superstar level hitter to a just very good hitter this year. Um, he has been playing baseball now for 14 seasons. And, I think honestly, the amount of years you have played plays more a role than your overall age sometimes. And he's a guy who's obviously has an incredibly violent swing, which puts a lot of wear on his body. I think his body's finally wearing down. And, just a little bit. I don't think like he's not Ryan Howard level washed, obviously. Like God, he's nowhere close to that. But,
Correct. Yeah.
you know, it just he's getting old. He's getting old. And I think everybody knew the back half of this contract, the last 5 or 6 years, were gonna be rough because anybody who's like he's gonna age, like um God, that one guy for the Braves who played like 8 zillion seasons until he was like 47 or something. I forget the guy's name.
Chipper
Um
Jones? Chipper Jones was
no,
pretty good
he was
later
just
on.
he was a journeyman. I forget it. Whatever. Julio Franco. Julio
Oh,
Franco.
there you go.
Um and but like very few guys actually age like that, and you can't really predict that they're going to age like that. It doesn't matter if the guy has a short swing or something like that. You can't predict how a guy is going to age really.
The
And
fire hasn't been there with Harper this year. Like he has
yeah,
looked
I
more
don't.
checked out than
Yeah,
I was expecting.
it hasn't looked like the same Bryce Harper. And I think part of it is him. I think some of it's mentally with the wrist injury and just other injuries going. God, like that has to be demoralizing to an extent where it's something that's out of your control, like the wrist or the back or something like that, where it just like you just shrug your shoulders and you're like, well, crap, like what am I supposed to do about this? I think that plays a role in it. And I don't know what's going on with him mentally, if there is anything going on with him mentally, but it just you're right. I felt zero faith with Harper coming up. Now, granted, I had zero faith in the game itself at that point. So listen, that might have not. I don't even know if that's a Harper thing or if it's just
Good
I
point.
was checked out of the game at that point because, like, I when I'm gonna be honest, I was watching this game at a bar because I'm very loud when I watch playoff baseball, and I was being mindful of my girlfriend who does not like loud sounds very much, and I went and sat down at the bar. And the moment that Teoscar Hernandez hit that home run, I asked for my check and left like to go watch the game at home because it was the same as the Lindor home run or the Yordan Alvarez home run. At least I had no faith that they were going to punch back from that. They were just
It
going to
felt
take
like a
it in the
funeral
mouth.
after that.
Yeah,
It
they were
felt
going
like
to
a
take it in
funeral
the
after
mouth
that.
and they were going to fall over. That's what they were going to do because that's all they do after home runs where they get punched in the face like that. The only one where I can think of where they ever fought back after like a back-breaking home run was Game 5 against the Diamondbacks, but then of course they melted down immediately after that. It's
Let's
just you can go.
let's yeah, let's get into some listener questions if that sounds good to you. And then
That's
I have
fine
one
by
more
me.
point. Yeah, let's take care of all these. I don't want to forget about them.
Of
So first
course.
one, Coaster Craze on Discord, asking for our thoughts on the Bader hamstring injury, which might not be a hamstring injury, it turns out. I'll go quickly on mine. I do not expect to see him in this series, and I would seriously consider doing an injury replacement on the roster if it is like a groin strain.
Hmm.
If you take him off the NLDS roster as an injury replacement, it also means he would not be eligible to play in the NLCS. But I would do
Hmm.
that. I think the Phillies need a good defensive outfielder, and I would ask Justin Crawford if he's feeling okay after the concussion, if he is ready to be
That'd be
defensive
crazy.
replacement in the postseason.
Um, so my thoughts is I'm really grim right now, so I'm going to go immediately to the worst thing. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the last game Harrison Bader is going to play as a Philly.
I
Like
mean, even if the
he's
Phillies win the
injured.
World Series, that might happen. Like a groin strain
Yeah,
could
no, yeah.
reasonably take you
That's
out
what I'm
for a
saying
month.
is
Yeah,
he's done. I think he's done. I don't think the Phillies are going to get through this series. I'm just going to be flat out about that. I think that this was a must-win game for them. I didn't want to admit it going in because that probably would have made me even more anxious before the game started. But this was a must-win game, I think, for them with Sanchez on the mound, and they failed. And Bader getting injured is awful and it sucks. And I don't look forward to watching Brandon Marsh play center field, which it's not his fault that he's going to get four. Which is what's going to happen. I'm sorry, it's what's going to happen. They're going to make Marsh play center. They're going to have Kepler play left field, and they're going to have Castellanos play right field. They're not going to have Kemp play right field, or they're not going to call up Crawford. They're just
one
going to
hundred
say,
percent.
"Well, we
Well,
believe in
maybe
our
they call
guys,
Crawford.
Castellanos." Maybe they
I
call him
mean,
up, but they're not going to start him.
yeah, he'd be like a defensive replacement, eighth, ninth inning type. Which, I, ideally you don't have that defensive situation of Kepler, Marsh, and Castellanos,
Yeah.
but you're going to have that. Like you kind of just have to accept it for what it is.
Yep.
Like I'm just worried about like the late innings. Like I don't want to lose a game in the ninth inning
Yeah.
because the ball's hit to Nick Castellanos that he just doesn't have the range to catch.
At this point, if that happened, I would laugh. I might actually laugh if that happened. I'm in that kind of mood right now. I wouldn't be happy. I'm not hoping that it happens. I really hope that it doesn't, because that would just be it'd be too much. But it would be the most just again, it would be a Phillies thing to happen where Nick Castellanos, who is going to get sent to the sun at the end of the season, okay, by Dave Dombrowski, cost them the game because of his defense. That he clearly thinks is amazing because he doesn't have errors. Uh, so yeah, you're going to see Kepler, Marsh, Castellanos, and that's going to be what it is the rest of the postseason. I hope everybody's ready for that. That's going to be great. I hope you all enjoyed our elite defensive outfield while we had it. I did. It was fun, and we no longer have it anymore. We're back to you know having subpar defense in left, subpar defense in center, and worse than the league defense in right field. So,
It was a nice 2 months of having a good center fielder.
right, right. The curse continues. The curse of Shane Victorino continues.
It never ends. Next question we got from the Ladysmith. Who can
Mhm.
we rely on in the bullpen? Um, I'll let you answer this one
So,
first, and then I'll go over.
so I still trust Strom. Like I said earlier, I don't really blame him for the 3-run homer. I think he should have started that inning, and I think he would have been fine. I still trust Duran. Um, Clean situation, not having an up and down, just doing one inning, then being done the moment the inning's over. I still trust Robertson in that situation. Um, I didn't watch enough at the end of the season to really give an opinion on Kerkering. Banks is still okay in my book. It's just I think I don't know that it's as much the guys in the bullpen melting down as it is Thompson grossly mismanaging the bullpen tonight. I really think that's the bigger story over just bullpen failures. I think it is mismanagement.
I'm with you. I still have a lot of trust in the bullpen. I think it's probably the biggest advantage that the Phillies have over
Yep.
the Dodgers. I trust Duran. I trust Strom. Kerkering now with his third straight good appearance. I think I trust Kerkering again. I
Hmm.
trust Banks, Robertson. I again, like you, I blame it more on Thompson than I blame it on him. This bullpen's fine. Like, I don't think this bullpen was the reason they lost today. I don't think that the bullpen will be the reason that they lose this series if they do lose
Nope.
this series. And I feel fine. I feel fine about the bullpen. Still a good bullpen.
Are there any other
Next
questions?
question. Yeah,
Okay.
next question. These are two similar ones that we got.
Hmm.
First was another one from Coaster Craze. Why do I waste 162 plus days of my life for yearly disappointment? And from Philly Thrill, why do I spend hundreds upon thousands of dollars and hours of my life every day on a team that runs it back every year with the same players, that clearly has streak issues, and a manager who's been a bench coach his entire career every single year?
So the first one I'm gonna say is listen. Uh, 29 out of 30 teams end in disappointment in baseball. It's just, unfortunately, it's part of baseball. One thing I actually said before the game that I do want to put forward here is that, the Dodgers really started being good again around 2013. And it took them 7 years of super teams, really, to win a World Series. And then it took them 10 years of super teams to win one that wasn't a Mickey Mouse ring in 2020. Like, it it is really that hard to win a World Series. It
It is.
sucks that you get invested in it. And believe me, I'm not trying to minimize the fact how much it hurt that the Phillies didn't win it in 22 or 23. Which we can go over that over and over and over, and it will never hurt less. The Phillies did not win in those seasons. Those were their best chances. I think everybody can agree on it. But it's just baseball. It like I hate to say that it's just baseball that teams consistently disappoint you in the playoffs. Most teams will disappoint you in the playoffs. You just gotta hope that the things fall your way. Like if the Schwarber ball is just a little bit down on the handle more, or Harrison Bader hits that ball to left just a little bit harder, this might be a completely different game, and we might be celebrating a win for the Phillies here. Or
What I'll
if
say
Rob
here
Thompson makes a different decision.
what I'll say here is Philly Thrill's comment in so many ways, it
Hmm.
rings so true to me.
Yep.
Rob Thompson, I'm more critical of him than you. I mean, we're very critical tonight for obvious reasons, but in general, I think I have a lower opinion of Rob Thompson than you
Hmm.
do, and I think that there's a reason that he was a bench coach his entire career until he, got lucky that Joe Girardi got fired, and then the Phillies got hot. Which he had some responsibility in making the clubhouse a better place to play than Girardi. I give him credit for that.
Hmm.
But as far as like the X's and O's of managing, I don't think it's ever been his strength, and I think that it continues to bite the Phillies constantly. As
You
far as
know
what
who he
Phillies,
is?
yeah, who
You
is
know
he?
who he is? He is turning into he's turning into Mike Tomlin, where everybody wants to play for him. creates a great clubhouse environment, but he mismanages games and loses big games when it matters most.
So
And
true.
that's really what he's turning into. And I love, by the way, I love that I can have just an outside city perspective other than the Eagles on this.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's what he's turning into a little bit here. And listen, I'm not ready. I'm not fully on the Fire Thompson bandwagon yet, but I'm not going to. I'm to the point where I'm not going to grab a pitchfork if they do fire Thompson after
I
this.
wouldn't
If they
I
lose this
wouldn't be
series,
upset if he was gone. Yeah,
yeah,
I
like
wouldn't
I
be
said,
upset at all.
I'll say, maybe I wouldn't have made the move, but I understand them making. That's where I'm at right now with Thompson,
In
and
my out of the
that,
park sim this season, he retired after
mhm,
2024. If that happened, fine. Or
yep.
after 2025. Sorry, if that if he did that, retired, and go out in grace, sure, that's fine.
And listen, I think he does deserve a place, in Phillies lore as a really important figure and as a positive figure in Phillies lore. But I completely agree that it is just getting to the point with managing that it just feels like it's a mistake after like crucial mistake in big moments.
Yeah,
As for running the team back, I don't really know what they were supposed to do this offseason. I get the frustration. I get the frustration about having streaky teams and all of that. But there are very few teams that are not streaky in baseball. There's very few offenses that are not in some way, shape, or form streaky. And I get the anger when the bat stops hitting home runs and all of that stuff starts going the wrong way. But like it it's just incredibly hard to make major changes to your roster when you have entrenched long-term contracts or you have guys who are on the last year of arbitration, and
there's
it makes it a lot harder to make big changes to the team, in my opinion.
there's one thing that I'm gonna disagree with this year. And
Hmm.
I think in general, Dave Dombrowski overvalued Bohm massively
Yep.
in the offseason
Yep.
based on the potential trades that we saw that the Phillies were offering other teams. On a rate basis, when you look at like the WAR per at bat,
Yep.
Edmundo Sosa is 4 times more valuable than Alec Bohm.
Yep.
About. I know that this is a controversial opinion, but I absolutely would have traded Alec Bohm for a bullpen piece that you kind of trust, even if it's like a middle reliever, whatever, a defensive first outfielder. I would have traded Alec Bohm and just said Edmundo Sosa start
My
at
my
third base this year.
my one question is Edmundo Sosa that much more valuable because he is in fact that much more valuable, or is he that much more valuable because the opportunities he gets given are against left-handed pitching?
That's definitely part
Because
of it. That's definitely part of
because
it.
that's got to be a large part of it. I'd be very curious to see what his value, for instance, would be if you like basically normalized his plate appearances, that he would see lefties and righties per season, and then panned those stats out across an entire season with his lefty righty splits.
We'll probably
Um,
find out after, it's his last year of arbitration next year, and he'll
yep.
be a free agent after
Oh, he's gonna get a
2026.
deal to start somewhere. He's gonna get
We
a
will.
deal to start
We'll
somewhere.
find
No
out.
doubt
We'll
about it.
find out in two
And he
years. Yeah.
deserves it. He deserves it at this point.
And
Um,
the other thing I want to say towards running it back is, there has been a lot of talk going into the postseason about how this was the last dance for the current iteration of the Phillies, and that they
yeah.
probably will not be running it back next year. And to that, I say, is that a bad thing? Like, I don't know if it is a bad thing. Like, I am kind of ready to turn the page. And even if that means that the team in the short term is less competitive, I am scared of giving out bad contracts that we're going to regret in 2 years. And I question if this core has like the innate attitude and ability to fight back and to win a World Series at the end of the day. So is it a
So
bad thing if they don't run it back?
so first off, I want to say that like we got to talk about what do we define as breaking up the core? Is it losing two players, losing three players? Because like realistically, the biggest pieces they're gonna lose Kyle Schwarber, Ranger Suarez, JT Realmuto. If they lose all three, I don't think they're gonna even lose all three of those guys. I don't think they let JT walk this season. Because I don't think they're gonna want Marchand to be their starting catcher next year.
What
Um,
I would define as breaking up the
mhm.
core is of these following 5 guys, 3 of them aren't here next year. Nick
All right,
Castellanos, Alec Boehm, Ranger Suarez, JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber. If you let
all right,
3 of those 5 go, I think you're at that point not
all right.
running it back.
So I think that there is merit to breaking this up. And listen, like a lot of these guys are just outright bad players, like Nick Castellanos. Alec Boehm is basically a net zero almost every single season he's been here. Um, you're gonna let Kyle Schwarber go. And I think I know this consensus from people is that Kyle Schwarber is going to age age gracefully. I don't know
I
that he
disagree.
is. I disagree. Power hitters do not age well. Historically, they do not age well. How many times must the lesson be learned that power hitters fall off a cliff when they
As
start to
soon as that
decline? They
bat
don't.
speed slows down and the home runs turn into warning track fly balls, and it's done.
Yeah, then he's worthless. He's worthless then. And listen, this is not to shame Kyle or talk bad on Kyle Schwarber. He is one of my favorite Phillies I've ever watched. But
Yes,
if you want to give Kyle Schwarber right now a 5-year contract, you are insane. You
I
are
would 4
insane. If you want
years.
to give him, do you
4 years
want
is too
do
much.
you yeah, I think 4 years is a stretch. That's like the absolute farthest I would even be willing to think about doing with him. If you want to give him 5 years, you are asking for another Ryan Howard contract. That's what you are doing. We went through this already with Ryan Howard, and I get it was the Achilles tear that ended Howard's career. Howard was declining before the Achilles tear. Like if we remember in 2010 and 2011, he only had like 30 home runs in those years compared to like the 45 he'd been having in years prior. He was already on the decline, and I really think that will be a massive failure of a move if they do that with Kyle Schwarber. I would rather if they are going to sign a massive contract this offseason, spend the money on Kyle Tucker. That is, I would a million times rather have another mega Kyle Tucker contract than 5 years of Kyle Schwarber. If we're just going to say, screw it, we're keeping our chips all in and we're not going to retool for next season. Put the money to Kyle Tucker. Don't put it to Kyle Schwarber. But
Here's what I do in the offseason.
yeah,
I let Kyle Schwarber go. Unless
hmm
he signs like a 3-year deal
yep,
for $80 million or something like that, 90
hmm
million, whatever. I let Kyle Schwarber go. I non-tender Alec Boehm, and I
yep.
give Munetaka Murakami all of the money he wants, and he will do the job that they do. He plays third base in Japan. If he ends up being a DH, whatever. He's
So I am
25
not
instead
familiar
of.
with the Japanese scene. So can we get like just a little bit of background on this guy?
Yeah, Munetaka Murakami. He's 25 years old, born in 2000. He's been one of the best hitters in Japan for a few
hmm
years now. He is a third baseman, though it is not really that sure that he's going to stick at third base. You
Yeah,
probably could put him
yeah,
at first, or he could end up DHing. But he is a power first guy. I know Japan's a league where pitching has dominated, and a 3 ERA is like a bad ERA for a pitcher in
yep.
Japan this year. And he's nonetheless, averaging 35 home runs a year in Japan.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I'd. There's nothing I'd love more than for the Phillies to finally get into the Japanese market because I really feel like it's something that when they break the dam, then they're gonna just be able to actually sign guys that they want to get. I think right now the issue is that they haven't broken into the market yet for Japanese players. I think that's actually the hardest part of it right now for them. Of course, they're at an
And,
inherent disadvantage because they're on the East Coast. I think.
and maybe this series, it's exposure in Japan. I mean,
Yep.
Japan by like a per capita basis, they like baseball more than we like baseball
Oh
here in
yeah.
America. So the Phillies are on a lot of Japanese TVs this week.
Yep. I certainly hope, and how many, but depending on how the rest of the series goes, that might discourage a lot of them from coming to play in Philadelphia. Um,
Could go either way.
because
Yeah.
it could go either way. But yeah, so I think a lot. I think next year there's going to be a lot of question marks. It's going to be what are they going to do with? I hate that we're already talking about next year, but I do not have faith
It's
that they're
true.
going to win the series, Joe. I don't think they're going to win the series. I really don't. And I'm not a doomer. I am the one of the least doomery people you will ever meet. When they got swept by the Mets in Queens in August, I was sort of like, that's really annoying. Okay, next series.
Yeah. I was able to
But
flush
like
that so easily.
I have no faith in them bouncing back because they haven't bounced back from a punch in the face in the playoffs since the Attaboy Harper game in Atlanta. That's the last time I remember this team getting punched in the face. and coming back from anything.
Well, this
Um,
ties perfectly into the last question that we got from Bader's right arm, hashtag Bader Truther, which is, do you still think that we can win this series? And give it like a
no.
percent. Like what percent odds would you give that the Phillies win this series?
Um, I I think instead of percent odds, I'd like to. Okay, I'll give percent odds, and I'll make a movie reference for this to how I feel about the series. I think percent odds, I give him like 5%, honestly,
Okay.
and that I give him a quote of, with regards to their chances, you have my sympathies from Alien. That's how I feel. You have my sympathies. I,
That's
I
a good
I
one.
don't think they're going to win the series, and I think it's going to be ugly. I really think it's going to get ugly. I think maybe there's a non-zero chance. I give him maybe a 50-60% chance of winning game two. Okay, because I still think that Luzardo, just based on the Luzardo factor, if he comes out and he's ace Luzardo, and if he's Jesus Luzardo, then they're going to win game two. I think, but
Yeah.
I don't. I think they're going to go out to Los Angeles, and I think they're going to get slaughtered. I really think they're going to get slaughtered right now in Los Angeles. This team, it I get it's one game. I get that they still have you know 4 games potentially left in the series. I get the season did not end today, but God Almighty, it just it, it feels like 2023 and 2024 all over again. That's what it feels like. And I hate saying that because I've hated having to listen to that for the past year and a half of how it feels like the past postseason failures. But I can't deny it anymore. It's what it feels like. And I don't think they're going to win this series.
I'm at about a 15 or 20% chance, so a little bit
Hmm.
more optimistic than you. But if I had to like rank the possible outcomes of this series, I think the most likely outcome is the Dodgers win in four. Then
Hmm.
I'd say next most likely the Dodgers win in three. And then
Yep.
I would say the Phillies winning in five, and then the Phillies winning in four, and then the least likely would be the Dodgers winning in five. That's
Well,
where I'm at
I
right
would
now.
say Dodgers winning in five is at least likely.
I think if it gets to a game five, I don't. I just think the Phillies win a game five. I know that
Hmm.
the Phillies lost game seven
A,
in
a Philadelphia
against
team
Arizona in
winning a winner
23,
take all.
and I know that the Phillies lost game five, to the Cardinals in 2011. They don't have a great track record in these winner take all games.
Well,
But
hang on.
if you
Let me look this up real quickly just for us because so this is a stat that I love.
And
Uh,
while you say that, I'll say the one other comment we got from BaseballZilla, who said, "I see this as a learning loss. Maybe it was a learning win too for the Dodgers, but I see the Phils bouncing back from this. I like the positivity,
I like the
but
positivity. I wish I had it.
yeah,
Let
I wish to. I wish I had that too.
me see if I can. Come on. When's the last time a Philadelphia team won a winner take all game? May 14th, 2010, when the Flyers beat the Bruins in Game 7.
That
Was the
was a
last
three
time a
nothing
Philly.
comeback.
Yeah, the 3-0 comeback. They lost.
Uh,
76ers lost to the Celtics, lost to the Diamondbacks, lost to the Hawks, lost to the Sabres in Game 7, and then lost to the Cardinals. So, I mean, it just I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on that, but just I don't know what winning a winner take all feels like. Uh,
yeah,
at this point, it's this is a truly I know we're gonna probably wrap this up here soon. It's a truly demoralizing loss that started off feeling so good, and I let me pull up the message chain that I was sending at the beginning of this game. It was just full optimism like for the entire game. Um, just electric start, that was way in on Schwarber and he nearly hit it out. I mean, it was just everything looked like it was going to Philly's way, and then they get those 3 runs in the second, and just the same old, just late inning postseason meltdown comes back and just breaks our hearts again. And it's painful because I love this team. I love this team so damn much. And it hurts me. It hurts me to declare the season over and say that I have no faith in them. Um, After losing one game in the division series. It hurts my soul to say that. I don't want to say it, but it's how I feel. I truly don't think that they have a chance in hell to win the series really right now. The Dodgers look better. If Bader is really done for the rest of the series, which he probably is, then they have no Wheeler to save them. They have they're going to be playing Martian center and they're going to be playing Castellanos every day. I don't see it. I just don't see it anymore.
Yeah, it's tough to see a path forward. Um, but we are gonna wrap it up. We got through the questions. We I think got a lot of our anger out. I feel less
Yeah,
angry. This was like a
I feel less
therapy
angry.
session, I
I just
think.
feel disappointed, catharsis.
Yeah, that's the same thing here. So, my final point, and then I'll let you make your final point, is that I had the realization that if the Phillies get eliminated in this series, I will be there to watch it because I have
Oh
tickets to game
God.
3 and 4 in LA and then 5 back here. So I am kind of dreading that, but we'll,
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it ends up going well. Uh, I love LA, but I am not looking forward to Dodger Stadium anymore. What is what's your final point before we wrap this up?
So I have never been more grateful for deciding against a last minute ticket purchase. I cannot imagine having to have spent like $333 on seats for this game to watch this. So
Luckily, I
I'm
only paid like
in,
110 because of my season ticket plan.
that's lucky you on that, man. I wish, but I'm really grateful I did not end up going to this because this would have been just miserable. Would have been
Heartbreaking.
shades of like 2011 Game 2 for me. Which you know, I'm really hoping this is not the full end of an era again. Once right here, 'cause I want nothing less than to watch this episode and point a finger at myself and laugh at my face because this team came back and won 3-4.
Yeah.
There's
Let, let,
there's nothing I want more.
let's end up on old takes exposed. That's the goal.
Yep.
But anyways,
Old take is all right.
thank you for joining today. This was a great episode, I guess, even though the game sucked. But hopefully Phillies fight their way through, even though they're now fighting up a mountain. So thank you everybody for the questions. Thank you everybody for listening, and we will be back after game two. Hopefully it's a little bit more positive than this one. Remember, in the show notes, you can find a link to our Discord server, and in the Discord server, there's a podcast channel. Get your questions in there, and we'll answer them in the next show. Thank you again for joining, Giles, and I'll talk to
Yep.
everybody else real soon.